everyone! Welcome back to the channel. Today I've got something truly mind-blowing to share with you, a brand new AI image editing tool called OmniGen that is about to change the way we create and edit images forever. Imagine a tool where you don't need any complex photo editing skills, no adjusting sliders or masking things out. Just type in exactly what you want, and this AI does the rest. From deblurring, removing objects, and even creating entirely new scenes, OmniGen is free, open source, and it runs offline. So stick around because I'm going to show you step by step how to install it on your computer and push it to its limits with some seriously cool image transformations. Let's dive right in.
Deblur this image. Not bad. Not bad. Remove her earrings. Pretty impressive. All right, let's try this. What can be eaten? Replace it with pasta. I'm starting to get a bit mind blown here. Let's try this. Using her pose, make a boy studying in the classroom. No way. How about this? Take the man on TH. Right of this photo and the man on the left of this photo and have them eat dinner together. Oh my God, this is insane. So this might be the most intuitive and powerful AI generator you've seen so far. It's called OmniGen, and I think this could very well define the future of image editing. If you want to edit an image, you don't need to adjust the brightness or contrast or saturation sliders anymore. You don't need to do any white balance or color correction. You don't need to paint over an image or mask things out or do any other manual stuff. All you need to do is prompt it on what you want to edit, and it would edit it for you. And best of all, this is free and open source. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how to install this and run it locally on your computer. You can run this offline for free for unlimited times. Plus, I'm gonna test it out on a series of tricky tasks to show you all the cool things that it can do. So let's jump right in. First of all, let me just show you a few cool examples from their research paper. It can do so many things. For example, if you upload one photo and you ask it, "Where can I wash my hands? Please help me find the right place," it will actually highlight the sink for you. Plus, it's so easy to create deepfakes or face swaps with this tool. You no longer need any third-party or external plugins. So, for example, let's say you want to get Wukong and Iron Man in a kitchen together. Well, you can say, in a cozy kitchen, Man 1, which is Wukong, is chopping vegetables, while Man 2, which is Iron Man, is sitting nearby. And this is what you get. You can also just upload a blurry image and then type in deblur the image, and this is what you get. The same works for brightness, so you can also upload a really dark image and then brighten the image, and this is what you get. It understands context really well. So let's say the prompt is Woman 1, which is Queen Elizabeth here, is holding a cat and sitting on a bench in a park. Woman 1 is the person smiling in image 1, which is here. And then the cat is the one in image 2, water. Eek is here. So you can just upload an entire image, which isn't just the cat, and it knows how to identify the cat in this image and then generate an image of Queen Elizabeth with this cat sitting on a bench in a park. Here, if you ask it to remove the butter on the cake, that's exactly what it does. It removes the butter on the cake. Here's another really impressive example. So here's the input image, and then if you prompt it with delete the rain in this image, that's actually what it does. It actually gets rid of the rain droplets on this window pretty well, and it can carry out multiple edit in tasks in the same prompt. So, for example, if this is the original input image and you prompt it with add sunglasses to the man's face and change the color of the clothes to blue, that's exactly what it does. It not only adds the sunglasses, but it also swaps his shirt to blue. Super powerful tool. Now enough showcasing their demos. Let's actually try this out. So I'm gonna link to their GitHub page in the description below. On this page, there is a link to a hugging face demo. So if you don't have a powerful enough GPU, you can try to use this space online to generate EMA. Requirements explicitly on their GitHub page, but it seems to only work with CUDA GPUs right now. and some people have reported to successfully run this with as low as 12 gigabytes of RAM. By the way, I'm using a Dell Precision 5690. You can integrate a powerful RTX 5000 ADA into this. I'm going to install it on my desktop, so I'm gonna open up my desktop folder. And then in this top bar up here, I'm going to type in CMD, which will open up my command prompt, but in the desktop folder. And then opening this back up, the next step is to git clone this repository. Now note that you do need to have git installed before you can git clone anything. So if you don't have git installed before you can git clone anything. So if you don't have git, here's how to install it. If you already have git installed, feel free to skip to the next section. All we gotta do is open that X file and then follow the steps. So I'm gonna click on Next. I'm just gonna go with the default install location, which is program files/git. So I'll click Next for that, and then I'm just gonna leave this at the default. And then I'm gonna click Next again and CL. Ick Next here. We're just gonna use the default settings for all of these. There's a lot of settings that you need to go through, so I'm just gonna click Next for all of these. All right, and then it should go ahead and install all the files. So this might take a few minutes. Perfect. So now we have git installed. Anyways, assuming you have git installed, let's copy this first line and then paste it in our command prompt. So this will clone the Omnigen repository into our desktop folder. All right, perfect. So after it has cloned the repository, if you open up your desktop, you should see a new folder here called Omnigen. And if you open this up, it will contain all the files that are in the repository. So these are same folders and the same files, as you can see here. All right, so the next step is to go into this folder. So let's paste this line in our command prompt. And this basically means change directory to Omnigen because before we were still in the desktop folder. Right now, we are going one folder into the Omnigen folder. And then the next step is to pip install everything. You could run this right away. However, what I prefer to do when installing a CH of these open source tools is to create a virtual environment first. So this step is optional, but it keeps things from breaking. So what a virtual environment is, think of it as like a separate hard drive on your system, and you're gonna download all the packages and dependencies of this tool in that hard drive, and this is separate from everything else you have on your computer. And the benefit of this is if this requires some dependency or requirement that conflicts with an existing tool, you can download everything separately for this, and it won't affect anything else you have on your computer. Now in order to create a virtual environment, we're gonna use Conda. If you don't have Conda installed, here's how you install it. If you have it already, feel free to skip to the next section. Now I'm just on anaconda.com, and actually, what I'm gonna do is install Miniconda. This is a minimalist version of Anaconda. If you install the full Anaconda, it installs a lot of packages and dependencies that you might not need. This just takes up more room on your computer, and of course, the installation time is a bit longer. But with Miniconda, it's just a bare bones package. And then let's set this to all users. I'm going to go with the default destination folder. And then I'm going to check this as well. Clear the package cache upon completion. This just gives you back some more disk space without affecting functionality. All right, once that's completed, let's click Next, and then we are finished. Now we aren't done yet. So if you open up the command prompt and you type in conda -- version, you're still going to see that conda is not recognized. This is because we haven't added Anaconda to our path yet. So let's exit out of this. And then to add it to our path, we simply search for this function, edit the system environment variables. We're going to click on this and then click on environment variables and then click on the one that says path and then click edit. And here's where you add in the path of Anaconda. So it depends where you installed Anaconda. For me, I installed it in Program Data, so it's going to be in Program Data / Mini Conda. And then if I double-click on Scripts, you can see that Conda is here. So this is the folder we want to paste in. So I'm going to right-click on this and then copy as path, and then back in the Environment Variables window, I'm going to click New and then paste in the path here, and then click OK, and then OK, and then OK again. Now if you open up Command Prompt again and type in conda -- version, you should see that we are running to 4.5.0. So this shows that we have successfully installed Anaconda. Alright, so assuming you do have Conda installed, back to our command prompt where we are in this Omnigen folder. Let's type in conda create -n and then Omnigen, which is what we will name our new environment. So what this means is we are using Conda to create a new environment called Omnigen. So let's press enter and then let's press enter. Alright, so it has been created now. The next step is we actually need to activate the environment before we can use it. So let's type in conda activate and whatever. We named our environment. In our case, it's Omnigen. And you can see that your environment has been activated if you see Omnigen in parentheses before every line. Alright, so going back here, the next step is to copy and paste this final line. So let me paste this in here and let's see how long this takes. Alright, so you can see it's loading up all the dependencies that it needs to download, and then it's downloading all the files. So for example, accelerate, diffusers, torch. So depending on your internet connection, this might take a few minutes. Alright, and if all goes well, you should see this line again with no errors above. So next step is we could create images using all these lines of code, but it's not really intuitive. So instead, let's open up a Gradio interface, which looks like this, and it's just easier to navigate and adjust things. So in order to do that, we first need to pip install Gradio and spaces. Let me copy this line and paste it in here. So again, this is going to download another set of requirements, which might take a few minutes. Alright, perfect. And again, if all goes well, you should see this line again without any error messages. So the only thing left to do is to run this app.py file. So let's copy this line and then paste it in here and press enter. Alright, and the first time you load this up, it's going to install additional things such as this model save tensors file, which is basically the model that is required to generate the images. And note that this is 15 gigabytes, so it's gonna take a while for this to download. And one thing I forgot to mention is you might be wondering, well, how do I start this from scratch the next day? So all you have to do is go to your Omnigen folder, and then in the top here, type in cmd to open up your command prompt in this Omnigen folder, and then type in conda activates, Omnigen, or whatever you named your virtual environment. And then you should see this Omnigen in parentheses at the start of every line. And then after that, all you have to do is type in Python appdo tpy to load up the Gradio interface. So we've already installed the model.savetensors file the first time we loaded this. So this should only take like a minute to load up. Alright, so if everything loads up successfully, then you should see this link here. So if you hold down Ctrl and CL, into it, it's going to open up a Gradio interface in your browser. So note that even though this is on your internet browser, this is completely offline. You can run this without internet for unlimited times. So let's try this out right now. It's pretty intuitive to use. I'm going to show you all the settings right now. So for the prompts, let's enter in a young woman sitting in a cafe. She is wearing golden earrings and a white sweater. In front of her is a table with a slice of cake. And let's just leave all these images blank for now. I'll show you what these do in a second. And then for the height and width, let's also leave it at 1024 by 1024. Guidance scale is how much you want the image to follow your prompt. So right now, the default is 2.5. if you drag this all the way to the right, then it's going to interpret this really literally. Whereas if you drag this all the way to the left, it's not really going to follow this as much and it might give you some random results, but this gives it room to be more creative. Anyways, I'm going to set this back at the default of 2.5, and then image guidance scale is how much you want these up. Loaded images to affect your result. So if you drag this all the way to the left, then these images would have more influence. If you drag this to 0, then it's not going to have as much influence. I'm going to leave this back at, I believe it was 0.5 and then inference steps. This is just how many steps it takes to generate the image. So in general, the more steps you have, the higher quality and the more detailed the image will be. But at a certain point, if you have too many steps, then you just get diminishing returns and it's just not worth it. So anyways, let's just keep it at the default for 50 for now. And then for this checkbox, check it if you want to reduce the memory cost. Same with this one. If you don't have a really good GPU with enough RAM, you can also offload some of the processing to your CPU. So check this if you also want to reduce more usage. Now, of course, if you offload some processing to your CPU, this is gonna take way longer. I'm gonna leave this one off. And then finally, this setting is pretty self-explanatory. So this is if you want your output image to be the same dimensions as your input image, which I will leave off for now. And then let's click Generate and see what that gives us. By the way, I'm using an RTX 5000 Ada on a laptop, which only has 16 gigabytes of RAM, so this is less powerful than a 4090, for example, which has 24 gigabytes of RAM, and you can see the processing time due. When here, so it does take quite long to generate one 1024 by 1024 image. Alright, perfect. So this is what we get. And if you open up our command prompt, you can see that this one image took around 1 minute and 47 seconds. So pretty slow compared to Stable Diffusion or even Flux. But we do see a young woman sitting in a cafe. She is wearing golden earrings and a white sweater. And in front of her is a table with a slice of cake. Let me tell you about this awesome tool called Saturn by our sponsor, Abacus AI. This allows you to use the best AI models out there all in one INT. A graded platform, this includes the latest O1 Preview, O1 Mini, as well as other state-of-the-art models like GPT-4 and Claude Sonnet 3.5. Plus, they have a new Root LLM feature, which automatically picks the best LLM to use based on your prompt. They also have a Search LLM feature which searches the web to find the latest and most accurate information for you. You can also generate images right from the chatbot, and they're using the best generator out there, Flux Pro. Plus, you can even generate videos with a single prompt. How cool is that? Plus, it has a really cool Artifacts F feature, so if you're coding or building something with it, it allows you to view and interact with the app side by side. You can also drag and drop PDFs and documents into here for it to analyze. This is great for generating reports and analyzing data easily. You can also create custom agents to automate specific tasks. This is just a really powerful and versatile way for you to use the best AI models out there all in one platform. Try it out via the link in the description below. Now to download this, simply click on this button to download it to your computer. Alright, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna drag the downloaded image onto here to use as an image reference. Here's the cool part about OmniGen. Let's say I want to remove the earrings. Well, all I have to do is reference this image by typing in this over here. So it's an image tag followed by EMA, J_1 and then a closing image tag. So I'm going to just paste this in. And then just to keep it more organized, I'm gonna press Shift Enter and remove the woman's earrings. Now you don't have to start a new line. This is just to keep everything more organized. But that's how you would edit an existing image. And then there's one more toggle we can play with, which is down here. let's use input image size as output. So let's say you're uploading an image and you just want to edit the image. So you want to keep the same dimensions as your uploaded image. Then you can just check this, and it would basically ignore the height and width you set here and just use the height and width of your input image. So, alright, everything looks good. Let's click Generate. Alright, perfect. And as you can see, this is indeed the woman, but now she has no earrings. So you could see why I think this is such a powerful tool. You no longer need to manually select any objects in the image or in Paint anything. All you need to do is prompt it what you want to edit and it will automatically identify the object in the photo and edit it. Alright, let's try another example. Instead of just replacing objects in an image, you can actually prompt it to highlight something in the image. So, for example, let's try this. What can be eaten in this image? Highlighted in blue. And, in theory, it should highlight this cake in blue. So I'm gonna keep all these settings the same. In fact, let me even reduce the number of steps to 40 just so this image can load faster. There's gonna be some sacrifice in quality, but I think it's minimal. And then let's click Generate and see what that gives us. Alright, and this is what we get. And indeed, it highlights the cake in blue. Very impressive. Now, instead of just highlighting the object, we can also ask it a question and then replace whatever object it identifies. So for example, if you ask it, what can be eaten in this image, and then let's type in replace it with pasta. What it's gonna do is for your input image, identify what object can be eaten in the image and then replace it with pasta. So let's keep all the settings the same and click Generate Image and see what that gives us. Alright, and this is what we get, and you can see it indeed identifies the food in TH. Image and replaces it with pasta. How cool is that? Now on the note of replacing things, you could also use this as a clothes swapper. So using the same image, if we type in replace the white sweater with a red bikini, and then we'll keep all the settings the same and click Generate. Let's see what that gives us. Alright, so here's what we got. You can see it's not perfect, especially her left arm there. And even the bikini is not perfect, but this is a very tricky image to do a clothes swap. First of all, because for this input image, she's wearing a very thick sweater. So it's really hard to guess her body shape. And also, there's a table and a piece of cake in the foreground which is obstructing some of her body. So it's quite a tricky task in this example for it to make her wear a red bikini. However, if you just have a photo of a woman standing with no obstructy ons in the foreground, it should be easier to swap her clothes for that image. Anyways, instead of just swapping clothes, here's another cool thing you can do. So you can also get it to generate a depth map of this image. So I'm gonna scroll down, keep all the settings the same, and then click Genera. And voila! Here we have a depth map of this image. How cool is that? So you no longer need like a control net preprocessor or whatever to generate pose maps or depth maps. You can just upload an image and prompt this AI to generate whatever map you want based on an image. How cool is that? Alright, here's an even crazier example. So again, I'm going to take the same photo, but this time for the prompt, what I'm gonna say is using the same pose as this image, generate a new photo, a boy studying in the classroom. And again, I'm gonna keep all the settings the same and click Generate and see what that gives us. And here's what we get. How cool is that? So you can see it preserves the same pose as this original image, but it turns it into a boy studying in a classroom. A super powerful tool. In order to do this, again, you need control net. You need to extract the pose of this image and then apply it to this new image, which requires multiple steps, and it's just a hassle to do so many things. But with this, you just upload an image and then prompt it to copy the pose, and that's pretty much all you need to do. Here's something even more impressive. You can use this as a face swapper. So what I'm gonna do is upload this image of Bill Gates and another dude, and then for image 2, I'm gonna upload this image of Will Smith and his wife. Now, the reason why I'm uploading two people in an image is because you don't need to crop out each individual face and then upload it. So here's what you can do. Let's say I want to generate an image of Bill Gates and Will Smith eating dinner. Well, the prompt can be two men are having dinner. The first man is the man on the right of image 1, so this is the man on the right of image 1, and then the second man is the man on the left of image 2, so this is the man on the left of image 2. So you could see, I don't even need to crop out his face or his face. I can just upload the entire photo and then specify in this prompt, alright, only use the face of the man on the right here and the man on the left here, and make both of them eating dinner together. Now in this example, because I don't want the output image to match the dimensions of these two images, I'm going to uncheck this option. And then up here is where I can set the height and width of the output image. And in this case, just to make it load slightly faster, I'm just gonna set it to 768 by 768. And then let's click generate and see what that gives us. Alright, and this is what we get. You can see it is indeed taking Bill Gates and Will Smith and getting them to have dinner together. And it even copies the outfit that they are wearing. So you can see Bill Gates is wearing this black sweater with a blue and white color, and that's what you see here. Same with Will Smith. You can see he's wearing this white shirt with a red jacket. Now, notice that there are some flaws here. This part is obviously not correct. But other than that, I mean, this is pretty good and it's so intuitive. You'd no longer need to download any face swapper plug-in like Pulled or Instanted. You just need to upload two images and then prompt it with whatever you want to generate, and OmniGen can understand and everything and generate it for you. Super powerful tool. Alright, finally, let me get rid of these two, and I also want to test out different styles of images. So let's test this one out. Girl in a black dress at home anime style. So let's see if this generator can generate anime style images. I'm gonna keep all the settings the same and click generate. Alright, and here's what we get. So this is kind of anime style. It's not great though. Definitely Stable Diffusion and Flux do a lot better than this in terms of anime. Alright, finally, let's also see if it can do Disney Pixar style. So I'm gonna type in Disney Pixar style. Let's see if it can figure this out. So again, I'm gonna leave all the settings the same and click generate. And here's what I got for Disney Pixar style. This looks more like a realistic photo to me, so let's give it one more shot. I'm gonna type in 3D animation style and let's see if it can pull it off. But I have a suspicion that this could currently only do well with realistic images. Okay, so this is a bit better. So instead of just inputting Disney Pixar style, if you input 3D animation style, then this actually works. Alright, so let's save this image and then I'm going to drag it here. And then same as before, I'm going to paste in image_1 wrapped in image tags. And then for organization, I'm just gonna start a new line and then I'm gonna replace the woman's black dress with a red dress, and then let's scroll all the way to the bottom. This time, because I'm using an image as a reference, yes, I want to use the input image size as the output, and then I'll leave all the other settings the same and click generate. Alright, and this is what we get. And it indeed replaces the black dress with a red dress. Now as you can see, it's not perfect. You can see a slight outline here where the black dress used to be, plus the hands and fingers are not accurate. But it is a really easy and intuitive way for you to edit anything in an image. So it seems like it doesn't work too well for 3D animation style images. In terms of, replacing objects or clothes in an image, it works the best with realistic images. Alright, let's try something else. So I'm going to drag and drop this blurry photo of a woman. This is a photo which is quit. blurry, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to paste in the image1 tag in order to reference this image, and then I'm going to write to blur this image. Now I'm gonna keep all the settings the same, but we are going to use this checkbox down here. Use input image size as output, because I want my generation to be the same size as my uploaded image, and that's pretty much it. Let's click generate and see what that gives us. Alright, and this is what we get. So you can see that it does deblur to some extent, but this is not good quality, and actually, I have a suspicion on why that is, because the uploaded image is very blurry. So if it's just referencing that image, then it's going to still include a lot of blur from that image. So I think what we actually need to do is drag this image guidance scale slider all the way to the left. And what this basically does is it reduces the influence of my uploaded image. So it's going to reduce the influence of the blur of the image, and hopefully that gives it more room to actually sharpen the image. So I'm gonna leave all the settings the same and click generate. Perfect. And this is what we get. So it's slightly better than the generation we had before. And for your comparison, here's the before and after. So you can see it has indeed deblurred this image. Alright, next I'm going to upload this really dark image of an owl. And then instead of deblur this image, I'm going to brighten this image. So I'm gonna leave all the settings the same and click generate. And there you go, it brightened the image. How cool is that? This is such a powerful tool. I mean, traditionally in Photoshop or wherever, you need to manually adjust the brightness and contrast. Sliders, maybe you need to adjust the levels and the exposure. There's just so much manual work involved. Whereas for this, you just prompt it with brighten the image and it automatically brightens it to the best amount for you. And note that for this really dark image, there's already a lot of data that has been lost. It's really hard to restore or even guess the colors of such a dark image sometimes. So you probably can't just use Photoshop or a regular image editor and then just bump up the brightness slider to get this result. But because Omnigen is using some AI algorithm in the back end, it's able to use AI to actually guess or extrapolate what the colors should be and then increase the brightness appropriately. So this is a super powerful tool. So anyways, that sums up my tutorial on Omnigen. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. Again, I don't think the quality of he images are as good as Flex or Stable Diffusion in some cases, but this is not intended to be an image generator. This is more of an image editor, and this is super intuitive. Instead of going to Comfy UI and dragging all these nodes and noodles around just so you could edit a specific object in an image or copy the pose of a character onto another image. With Omnigen, all you have to do is upload an image and then prompt it with whatever you want to edit. So everything is a lot more intuitive and a lot easier to use. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you think of this, and if you run NTO any errors while installing or running this, let me know in the comments as well, and I'll try to help you troubleshoot as much as possible. As always, I will be on the lookout for the top AI news and tools to share with you. So if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. Also, there's just so much happening in the world of AI every week. I can't possibly cover everything on my YouTube channel. So to really stay up to date with all that's going on in AI, be sure to subscribe to my free weekly newsletter. The link to that will be in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.